Okay, second Unit 7 assessment review for extended algebra. It's all about linear equations and functions. Write an equation, slope-intercept form of that line right there. So, you always write it in the form y equals blank x plus blank. Anytime they're writing an equation in this unit, that's your equation. But you, of course, have to find what the m and b are. So m is the slope, and b is your y-intercept. Now, when you have a graph, you actually want to find the y-intercept first because it's easy. It's right there, okay? And that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the y-intercept is 4. And that's your first point. Now find another point to the right of the y-intercept. Right there, okay? Clearly that's on the line. So the slope is a ratio. So we have to go down first, so I count by negatives. You got to go up or down first from point 1. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's your slope, negative 3/4. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4. Okay, number 2, you're doing the same thing. MB. Slope, y-intercept. Okay, so on the y-axis, right there, okay, that is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So it crosses our y-axis at the negative 4 point. Now your slope is a ratio. It's rise over run. Okay, rise over run. So find the second point right there. Rise means up or down. So you're going up to positive 1, positive 2. So I have positive 2 in the numerator. And then 1, 2, 3 in the denominator. Y equals 2/3 x plus negative 4. Now we are graphing the equations. Graph the equation using slope and y-intercept. So the first question I have is, y equals negative 2x plus 6. Do you have both y and x here? You do. Next question, is the y by itself? Yes. So we have our m, the x, whatever times by x is m, and then b. So that's awesome that I have that right away because then it makes it easy. The slope is negative 2 over 1. That slope always needs to be as a ratio. So if it's an integer, you put it over 1. Then positive 6 is your y-intercept. So y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from there we will be going down 2 and to the right 1. Just do it twice and the graph continues. Take a ruler. I don't have one at my house, so I make it go arrow that way and arrow this way. It's continuous. Okay. Number 4. We have negative 4x plus 3y equals 24. Do we have a y and do we have an x in the equation? Yes, we do. Is the y by itself? No, it's not. So I have to get this so the y is by itself, so I have my m and b. So what do we know about y? Well, the operation it has a multiplication of 3, and it has a negative 4x being added. Okay. So before we take care of 3, we got to add the 4x, so I make a 0x here, so I can have a place where I can add 4x to the 0x. Okay, so x, 0 plus 4 is 4, and then plus 24. Then I'm going to divide all of these by 3. Now remember the rule, if the y is multiplied by a negative, you don't want that when you're trying to get the y by itself, but it was already a positive, so I was good with a positive 3. If it was a negative 3, I'd change all the signs before getting rid of the operation. Reason why is because you don't want that as a negative right there. Because like 4 divided by 3 is a decimal, so I need to keep that as 4 over 3, because that's my m, okay? Then 24 divided by 3 is 8, and that's your b, okay? Now, I made a little mistake here because the graphs can be messed up. So this 24 here, we're going to pretend that that was a negative. Okay, let's say that was a negative to start with. So it'll be -8 because I wrote a bad problem. So I'm going to just pretend, let's say that was a -24 from the get-go. So slope, y-int, slope 4/3, y-intercept -8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then from there I go up 4, right 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so take your ruler and make the line. Remember, arrows on each end because it's continuous. Now, next problem, more graphing. Now, I got a question. Do you have X and Y? You don't. So you got to switch techniques. You got to switch the way you do the problem. You're not going to find a slope when you don't have both X and Y. So we're missing Y. So when we're missing one of the variables, we're going to use the three coordinate method because it's so easy. What's the letter we're not missing? -4, and it's X. So all the X's are -4. No matter what the coordinate is, it has a -4 for X. Now the letter we're missing, you can pick any number you want, but let's keep it simple. Let's pick a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay, so on X, -4, -1, -2, -3, -4. And then on Y, 1, 2, 3. So go -4, 1, -4, 2, -4, 3. Okay. Okay, it's a straight vertical line. It means that the slope's undefined. Now cross out this nonsense, and we're going to write another equation. Y equals 8. Okay. Now, do you have Y and X? No, you're missing the X this time. So you will not be trying to find the M and B when you're missing one of the letters. So, 3 coordinates. What letter are you not missing? You're not missing the Y. It says Y equals 8. So that means every coordinate has an 8 in the Y value. Now I'm missing X, so X is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so X, I go 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I go to 1, 8. Now 2, 8. So 2 on X, 8 on Y. 3, 8. 3 on X, 8 on Y. Okay, remember to put arrows on the ends because it is continuous. Okay. If the graph were bigger, it would keep going. Okay, next is blank. Okay, write equations of a line with the following traits. So on 6, 7, 8, 9, we're writing the Y equals blank X plus blank like we did on the first two, but we don't see the graph. Okay. Instead, it tells me certain things about the graph, and I need to fill in the equation, the M and B, with what they told me. Well, here they flat out tell me the M. It says M's 1/3. So leave it, put 1/3. But the B, they didn't tell me, okay? B is the Y-intercept. This is not the Y-intercept, because for it to be the Y-intercept, 0 has to be here, and it's not, okay? So 9, -3, because if you go to 9 on X, down and then -3 on Y, you're not on the Y-axis. So B is Y equals M times X plus B. So M is 1/3, and then -3 replaces the Y, and 9 replaces the X. So B plus, and then we find the product of 1/3 times 9, which is 3. Now we get rid of our +3 with a -3. -3 minus 3 is -6. If you're at -3 on a number line, you go 3 to the left, you're at -4, -5, -6. Okay, number 7. Through 3, -2, and 6, 1. So Y equals blank X plus blank. MB. So M, you don't have the M, they never told, so when we don't know M, we apply y minus y divided by x minus x. That's how to find a slope with two coordinates. Because I don't have to see the graph, so I can't measure this, the rise over the run. So the higher x is the second coordinates. We're going to go 1 over 6 and then negative 2 over 3. So 1 minus negative 2 is like 1 plus 2, which is 3, and then 6 minus 3 is 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I have an M value of 1. That's my slope. And then B, y equals M times x plus B. So my M is 1, 1 is y, 6 is x. B plus 1 times 6 is 6. So on minus 6, 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Negative 5 equals B. Okay, number 8. Write an equation parallel to the line y equals 5x minus 2 through the point 2, negative 1. So, y equals blank x plus blank, mb. Now we have to find both m and b. Now the word parallel means that the m means same m, okay? Same m. So in the given equation, the y is by itself, so I know the m is 5. I don't really care what the b is. It's minus 2, but I don't care what that is. But their m is 5, so my m is the same. My m is also 5. And then b, y equals m times x plus b. So the m is 5. Then negative 2 replaces your y, and 2 replaces the x. B plus 5 times 2 is 10. Now you minus your 10. Negative 1 minus 10 is negative 11 equals B. Okay. Y equals 5x plus negative 11. Now, perpendicular, different than parallel by a couple things. Perpendicular to the line y equals negative 3x plus 7 through 3, 5. B. Alright, so perpendicular is not the same m, it's flipping the m and making it into the opposite sign. Okay? So what's the m in the given equation? Well, y is by itself, so it ought to be easy to find. M, B. I don't really care that the b is plus 7. Now flip m. Well, if there's... To flip it, you got to make it into a fraction first. Put a 1. Now you flip it to 1 over 3. And not only that, you have to make it the opposite sign. So if this is negative, I need mine to be positive. So I put 1/3 up here. Now the m's found, and the b is found the same way every time when I don't see the graph. Okay. So m is 1/3, and then 5 is y, and then 3 is x. So b plus 1, ABC 3 times 3 is 1, then I minus the 1, and 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay, then we got some more graphing here. Now on the test, I'm going to put this V here next to the graphs. That tells you these are not lines, they form V's because the absolute value function is within the equation. Okay, that makes it a V, not a line. Now, a V as a vertex. Once you find the vertex, you're good to go. So vertex start, which is always 0, 0, and then the vertex finish. Now, remember the rules for this on the vertex finish. If it's inside of the absolute value function, it does the opposite to the x. Outside the absolute value function does the same operation to the y. So we don't have anything inside the absolute value, so the x stays. We don't do anything to it. There's no effect to the x. Now outside we have a minus 2. Outside does the same to the y, so that means minus 2. So 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So this is x, this is y. So 0 on x, negative 2 on y. So there's your point. Now make your v. Okay, there you go. 16, same thing. Vertex, or 11, my bad. Vertex start, 0, 0. Vertex finish, we need to figure that out. Now you have an operation inside. Inside does the opposite to the x. So I have a plus 3, I need to minus 3. So it's negative 3. Now, you don't have anything outside, so that stays, okay? So now, but you don't do the same thing you're doing here, because you see, now I go to negative 3 on x. This is the x line. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Right there now, okay? So here you went to negative 2 on the y. And 7 points is good enough. Okay, now it's story problems. Second one's the hardest. This is an easy one. The temperature at sunrise 65 degrees. Each hour means per hour. The temperature rises 5 degrees. The degrees per hour is going to be 5. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that models the temperature during the day. How many hours will it take the temperature to reach 90 degrees? So you have degrees and hours. So hours is x, degrees is y. So per. Degrees per hour. Okay, that's 5. We already talked about that. Positive 5. It rises, so it's positive. Okay, now I make my table. X, Y. Don't be lazy. Make your table. Degrees is y, hours is x. So when we know what this is, okay, what this is, I go 0, 1, 2. So the degrees start at 65. Now I know exactly what it does every hour. It adds 5, so it'd be 70 and 75. And we have to get to 90 degrees, and we're trying to figure out how many hours it takes to do that. Okay, so equals y. Now, you're going to put this 5 times x, because that's your slope, then a plus. Now, before you added 5, you had 65. That's the first number you added 5 to. So now we have our equation of 65 plus 5 times x equals y. And then we are going to put 90 in for y. So y equals 90. So we have 65 plus 5 times x equals 90. Plus and times, you got times, so you got to get rid of the operations. You minus 65 to take that to 0. And that's 25. Then divide by 5, and that's 5. Okay, so 5 hours. You can put that up with your 90. Makes sense, because 3 would be 80, 4 would be 85, 5 goes to 90. Okay, this one can be crappy. A hot air balloon descends in a linear path, means it's going down. At 10 seconds, the balloon is 640 meters above the ground. After 30 seconds, it's 590 meters above the ground. For how many seconds will it take the balloon to descend from its initial altitude to the ground? I made a mistake. Instead of 0 feet, it should say 0 meters. Okay. So the two units are seconds and meters. Shouldn't say 0 feet, 0 meters. So seconds is x, meters is y. So per, meters per second. Do you know the meters per second? They never told me that. So I put question mark, and then I'm going to put a label here with m. That's like m as in y minus y, x minus x. Now I make my table. but I label it differently. I still go seconds and meters, but you don't go 0, 1, 2 because we don't have anything to add. So what I do is I fill in my seconds. I've got 10, 30, and that's it. So I put my 0, okay, but I just don't take it to 1, 2. So then 10, 30, okay. Then meters, well, we have 640, 590, and 0. Now match them up. 640 goes with 10, not 0. Then keep going. 590 goes with 30. And then 0 meters, I'm trying to find, that's in the question, that's a closing amount, so I have to find what goes with it. Now, we started above 640, we don't know where, so we put B. Well, I'm going to need to find B, but I need to find the M first over here. Because that's my, whatever comes from here is my M. So I have a nice XY, XY, so I use Y minus Y, X minus X. So, start with 30, 590 over 30, and then 640 over 10. So 590 minus 640 is negative 50. 30 minus 10 is 20. Then you divide, and it's negative 2.5 times x. You can get a decimal, that's okay. Because when I go to make my line, okay, I have figured, okay, we have a slope of meters per second of negative 2.5 times x, okay? But I don't know, still don't know what the b is, but I'm in a good position to find it, okay? So my m is the negative 2.5. X and y, you can pick anything you want from your table. Okay, I mean, I'll pick 10 for X and 640 for Y. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So 640 replaces the Y, okay? Then 10 replaces the X. B plus negative 2.5 times 10 is negative 25. Then add 25, add 25, so 665 equals B. So 665 plus negative 2.5 times x equals y, okay? And then y equals 0. So 665 plus negative 2.5 times x equals 0. Now we need to solve for the x. So we have a plus and a times. So we subtract our 665. That takes it to negative 665, and then negative 2.5 times x. So now we divide. $266, okay? And that's okay. You might think that's kind of high, but look, it's only going down 2.5 per second, so it's going to take a long time to get from 590 to 0, 266. Okay, and then the last problem is the scatter plot. First off, I made a mess up. This shouldn't start at 1, it should be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Data follow a linear model. Make a scatter plot for the data, then we'll write an equation of the line. So, this is x, this is y. Okay, so the x is easy to label. 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the y, you look up here. I wrote this. This is where you want to start, okay? Because it's stupid to start below 5.20, because 5.30 is the lowest point, okay? Then from there, you add 10 cents. So that'd be $5.30, 5.40. Stop when you're above 6.05, 5.50, 5.60, 5.70, 0.80, 5.90, $6, 6.10. Stop. Now start graphing them. 0, 5.30, right there. 1, 5.57, 2, 5.82, 3, 6.05. Now put your ruler on the first plane. Actually, it makes a pretty darn straight line. It doesn't always, but it continues that way. Okay. Now let's write an equation of the trend line. Y equals blank x plus blank mb. Now to do this, okay, you're going to want to make a table. Okay, you will want the 0, 5, 30. If you have an x of 0, you're going to want to use that point. Now for the other two, you're going to want to pick 2 points on the line. I'll do the 1 and the 3. Okay, you can do any 2 you want. So 1 is with 5.57, and then the 3 is with the 6.05. So I'm finding m like I always do with a y minus y, x minus x. It's the b that I can cut down on the process. So 3, I want to pick my highest x value, 6.05 over 3, and then 5.57 over 1. Okay, so 6.05 minus 5.57 is 0.48. Now divide that by 2, and that's 0.24. You want to divide this even if it's a decimal. So that means it's going up by, it's increasing by about 24 cents every single year, about. Now the b, you can use y equals m times x, please, but if you have the y that goes with the 0 for x, that is your b, okay? You already have that. So you just put it in there. And there you are. There's your equation.